So quick background, I work at a family office investment manager specifically focused on family office clients. And what we do is create highly liquid, customized yield programs and investment solutions, but really yield programs based on equity derivatives and options. And I'm part of the Goldman Sachs alumni group, as well as I think I'm the first member of the University of Missouri alumni group. So excited to be that. And I think Mark and I connected just through LinkedIn. We started chatting. We were both kind of in the family office world, and I've already made a number of wonderful connections just through my brief time involved. So happy to be here.
Excellent. And looking back on 2020?
Yeah, so I'm going to pick my worst investment decision, because I think a lot of people have winners this year, right? There's lots of things you can celebrate. I like to learn from my mistakes, and probably the biggest one was I went into 2020 with building an energy position. So I've been increasing my energy position really based on IMO 2020, which was the low sulfur fuel standards for bunker fuel. It didn't pan out, largely because of the demand destruction in oil and oil price decline. So the regulatory compliance, went into effect January 1st. It still has to occur, but it just delayed the thesis. And so much so it's given them 2 to 3 years to implement versus, the 12 to 18 months that was expected. So it's not a completely broken thesis. It's just delayed so much that it's almost made it, really unimportant and not as impactful on the industry.
Yeah, fair enough. And then on the 21.
Yeah, so I see U.S. equity markets, which is largely where we focus. Really, the volatility continuing in the first half of 21, just with COVID and the stimulus and this back and forth we're seeing here in this month. I see that subsiding a little bit, and I'm expecting we do finish the year up. And my expectation is up in the 12% range, plus or minus a few percent. I do think on an international basis, Asian markets are particularly attractive outside of China. And I think they're going to be some of the best performers, and particularly Thailand and Indonesia are 2 markets I'm keeping a close eye on.
Excellent. And then in terms of philanthropies or sustainable development goals that you're focused on, maybe shine a light on that.
Yeah, I'm becoming a lot more passionate about education and reform. And just really over the past year, my first child she's 5.5. She's entering elementary school, kindergarten next year. She's in TK this year. But I've just been really, frankly, appalled at the state of California and Orange County's response, or really just lack of planning and subsequent lack of response or appropriate response due to COVID. And, I think the public-private contrast hasn't, been any starker than it's been in this year in my life. And so I still firmly believe all students should have access to great quality education. And but I'm just seeing that the public schooling system here and the state-run schooling has really proved its shortcomings this year. So I'm exploring more how to get involved here at the policy level. And I'm making this a personal priority for me in 2021 and beyond.
Excellent. And then in terms of how can the 361 firm ecosystem help Ben?
Yeah, well, 361 has already been a fantastic resource. Like, even after just the first CIOs and principals session I attended, I actually made some great connections in the small group breakouts, and have continued those conversations with many individuals. So it's already been really great. But I'm always looking for other like-minded, highly motivated professionals who are looking to connect, on family offices and ways that we can help with their alternative investing. Think about ways we can add options exposure or help them with concentrated positions and things like that. And that's what Savoy Capital does, and really helps, family offices with their existing investment portfolio and see where we can complement that.
And then one word for next year.
Reversion.
Reversion? Reversion. And why?
Well, you could think, I think we've had a volatile few years here, particularly 2020, really to cap it all off. I think part of it is Trump's presidency and some of the foreign policies, but I just think it's been a rocky year for a lot of people. And my expectation in 2021, I think some of the dust is going to settle, some markets, volatility, reversion to the mean. I just think we're going to go a little bit back to the way things were, with, a lot of things learned, hopefully, and set us off for a truly roaring 20s 2.0.
Fair enough. So I stop